The next step in creating our garden design is to add texture and color. We've already created a planting design that includes the basic structure of the garden, including the bed line, plant functional groups, and general plant forms. Now we can add some of the detail. And those details are going to be influenced a lot by personal choice. For example, if I were creating a perennial bed, I would want an accent such as this Amsonia. This is one of my favorite perennials, and it has such a fine texture. So my accent would have this beautiful fine texture. Now the supporting plants that go around it are going to have to complement that texture. And this can be a lot of information as we start to add the specifics, and there's a few ways we can get our thoughts organized. One thing is to simply use colored pencils on our plan view and elevation drawings to add what colors are we going to start to put into those. Another way is to create a chart, and you want to work from the general and move to the more specific. So we're going to start our chart by listing all the functional groups that are in our planting, and then what form do we want those functional groups. My accent's going to have that rounded form of the Amsonia, and then we can move into texture. Texture is more important than color because texture is going to be there throughout most of the season, and color is more ephemeral. Trees, shrubs, and perennials tend to flower for a relatively short period throughout the year. So color is really more of a supporting element where texture is going to be there. So you want to think texture and then color and add those to our chart to help us sort of organize. Another thing you want to consider with color is the bloom period. As you're trying to add color to the garden, make sure to add groups of plants that bloom at different times throughout the season. So you might want one group that blooms in the spring and another 2 or 3 in the summer, and then a couple of things that will add flower color in the fall. Now as we try to add these details and find plants that have all the elements we're looking for, we're going to have to turn to some resources, and there's many great books to help us in our search for those plants. And these books are all organized differently. For example, this perennial book has the plants organized by size and also the period during which they bloom. So it's separated into spring, summer, and fall bloomers based on the plant size. Something I like to look for in my reference materials are charts. Charts are a great way to look at a lot of information in a very organized manner. And this one has foliage coloration. It actually uses color to show what the foliage would look like at different times of the year. And you might want to include some references on specific plant types because these will just help you in learning how to use different plant types more effectively in the landscape. OSU Extension also has a pair of fact sheets that can help you identify plants, specifically annuals and perennials, for different uses. These are fact sheets HLA 6410, perennial flowers for specific uses in Oklahoma, and fact sheet HLA 6425, annual flowers for specific uses in Oklahoma. There are also a variety of websites that have searchable databases that allow you to search for plants by flower color or foliage or bloom period, and these can be a wonderful resource.